Mayor Smiley's in. He's taking his coat off, making himself comfortable. Yeah, that is a nice coat. What is that? Is that flannel you're wearing over there? What is
Yeah,
that?
it's like
Cashmere?
a.
Is that cashmere?
It's not cashmere. It's wool, but it's chilly out, so it's a heavy
Yeah.
suit.
All right, put the headphones on. Will you listen to the radio on the way in?
I was not.
Oh,
I'm
you
afraid.
missed a very boring segment. Me and Wendy. Did you have? Hold on. Were you ever bullied as a child?
Yes.
We all. I was.
Yeah.
But not to an overt extent. Like normal stuff.
No, mine was pretty normal too. I have a brother who's 2 years older than me, and he was sort of my protector. He used to tell my bullies, "Nobody beats up Brett but me," and which is sort of what you expect from your big brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, just in life, a few things here and there. Let somebody take your hat off or something. Like not play keep away. I hate it when they play keep away.
No, it was a little rougher than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was basically the same as a kid. I was the same as I am now, like a little nerdy, skinny,
Easy target. Yeah.
gay,
Yeah.
like easy target. And
Let's get them.
yeah, I mean, so yeah, I got pushed around a little
All right.
bit.
Now, is this why this is coming up?
No.
Tracy Morgan,
Okay.
the
The comedian,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was outside Madison Square Garden and he was signing autographs. And there was
Okay.
kind of a crowd around him. And there was a guy in the corner who said, hey, Tracy. And Tracy looked at him and said, oh, I know you. He knew the guy from years ago. And I guess the guy bullied him.
Oh,
So Tracy said, you bullied me. And the guy said, yeah, but I'm homeless now. Can you help me out? And Tracy said, no.
oh,
No. So he's getting a little pushback on the internet. So I said, look, if this was me, even if Mitchell, I ran across some kid bullied me. I don't know. I'd probably say, all right, Mitchell, what's the matter? A lot of time has passed. And
Yeah.
I probably would help him out if I could. Tom, okay, he's a very severe case. He really is. He just apparently, yeah, he was a very severe case. So he's absolutely, I would not forgive my bully. And he made this kind of plain in an emotional rant he had before. And what would you do?
I would forgive, but maybe it's a function of how bad you were abused. I don't know. Mine was shoved into a locker. Does that count? That the spitting didn't happen, but yeah, I think I would. I mean, that was 30 years ago.
Yeah, it comes
Like-
a sense of maturity. I
Yeah.
think you want to say, all right, look, where are you? Okay, fine. You would forgive?
Yeah.
And I would forgive.
Yeah.
He wouldn't. No,
Well-
he's not giving an inch. Nothing. He's
We'll,
bitter.
we'll keep praying for Tommy.
Well, we will.
Yeah,
I said
and,
you have to let this go.
That's right.
Just it's for your own. But no, and listen, a bunch of people have been bullied. Agree with him.
Yeah.
Oh, Tom's right. Tom's right. So anyway, all right. It's 8:11. Well, hold on. Let me set up 438-9776. This is Ask the Mayor. I have questions for the mayor, but it's more important that you talk to the mayor as a constituent. You ask him whatever you want to ask him about. Snow, potholes, whatever. Talk to the mayor. Go ahead. Peter, go ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor.
Well, Peter, I'll as soon as I leave the station here this morning, I'll call that street in. I know West Drive well. I know your development. I know our park there and where our rec department is, and we'll get someone over there today. As for who actually owns the street, sometimes it is a little complicated, and I don't want to promise one way or the other. But today's not the day to look into that. Today's the day to make sure
Come on,
that
you're a politician.
that
Go
your
ahead and promise.
residents.
This is-
No.
this is-
Today's the day to make sure your residents can get out, and so we'll get a plow up there today. And if there is some misunderstanding over who owns the street, we'll resolve that. But first things first is to get a plow truck up
All
there.
right, great. Now, I had you on the radio yesterday morning. You said it's gonna take time.
Yeah.
We only have a certain number of plows, and I don't know how many streets you have. Do you know how many streets you have?
I was going to say a couple of thousand, but I don't really know. What do you have? Do you have the count?
I don't happen to have the count.
Hundreds.
Yeah,
Hundreds and hundreds.
for sure.
Has every street been hit now?
Yeah, pretty much. As far as we know, we are still getting a few complaints. Just on my drive over here, I got one up in the north end that's a dead end. And when I called, they told me that overnight they tried to do it twice, but there were cars parked on both sides of the street and they simply couldn't get a plow down it. And so there are circumstances like that, which hopefully today people move their vehicles and then we're able to get a plow down there. So we should have the list of the streets we haven't hit, but 99% of the streets have been plowed.
Weren't these cars supposed to be moved?
Yeah, they were.
Well, should you have been ticketing and towing more than you were? You know, Fall River, they dropped the hammer over there.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe the number of tickets and how many cars were towed in Fall River. But we just got a complaint from Doug, our program manager. He was talking about Atwells Avenue, Europe Street, America Street, Knight Street over there.
Some
He
of those
said
are
that the plow
tight
looks like it
streets.
was a shovel, and,
Yeah.
and it's a mess.
Yeah, this is a problem plowing in Providence. We have got some really narrow streets. We got a lot of people who park on the streets. So when we do a parking ban, we do expect people to comply, and we enforce it with ticketing and towing. We did both. We towed about 300 cars. We ticketed more than that. The city has multiple tow companies that we use. Their lots got maxed out.
Yeah.
And so we had no other places to tow cars into. So we keep ticketing. We have been ticketing, but it really requires the participation of residents for their own sake and for their neighbors' sake. You know, just like this instance I was telling you, can't get a plow down if there's cars on two sides of a street and it's a narrow street. This snowstorm, for the first time, we have made available parking locations for anyone who doesn't know where to park during a parking ban. So each neighborhood, it's sometimes a parking lot for a park or a street that's extra wide. We allow parking in designated areas in every neighborhood. That was always a problem in the past. We've solved that problem, but it requires people's compliance and participation.
Well, if you had thousands of cars that didn't move when they were supposed to move, this is a problem now. What are you going to do next time around? Which could be this weekend.
It could be this weekend.
I mean, it's tough love. Nobody wants to do it. I understand.
Right,
Nobody wants to get a ticket. Nobody wants to get towed. But what are we going to do?
So we're going to keep ticketing. The parking ban was lifted effective 6 a.m. this morning. So people are going to go to work today. They're going to move their vehicles today. We certainly still have sort of the problem street list. DPW is still out there working. A bunch of people were given the opportunity to go sleep because they'd been going about 36 hours straight, and it gets unsafe for them. But a new crew comes in this morning at 7 a.m., came in this morning at 7 a.m., and we'll work through those other streets. And then the next time that we have to do a parking ban, we will enforce particularly these places where people didn't comply in the past. If you've never received a ticket, you think you can act with impunity. And so we know where the people didn't move their cars. So next time those folks are going to get a ticket, and then they'll say, well, maybe I actually need to follow it when the city says move your car.
I'm not urging ticketing, and I don't want people towed. And I know it's aggravating. It really is. I used to live in a city like Providence. You can't find a parking spot. Now I got to move it.
Yeah.
But what else? This is it.
Right.
This is where you chose to live. All right, next caller.
All right, Anna, go ahead.
Anna, go.
Good morning, Mayor. My mom passed away in December, and she lived in Providence. So now I'm getting all the paperwork ready, and I went to town hall to remove her name from the house because my siblings and I are already on the quitclaim deed. And I went to City Hall, and I was told that I have to hire a lawyer in order to get that paperwork straightened out. And I have no reason to hire a lawyer other than this. And I'm just wondering why the city doesn't take care of that.
I imagine you have to look into that before you can answer her.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Anna, I'm sorry for your loss, and to
Thank you.
have one more thing to have to deal with as you're dealing with the loss of your mom. I actually don't know the answer to this question. I presume that you're talking about probate court, and and so I don't know that a lawyer would be required, but maybe just some notarized paralegal forms might do the deed. So if we'll, my team listens to these shows when I'm on, and so if you call 311 later today, give us a couple hours. We'll do a little bit of homework and be ready for your call. Give us a call this afternoon at 311.
You know what? I'll have her give her number.
We got the number.
Okay, great. Thanks,
Your
Tom.
team. Your team is here.
Yeah.
Next. He
Ramon.
travels with teams. Go ahead.
Ramon, go ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor. How are you?
All right. How are you, Ramon?
I'm all right. I just having a complaint about the way that the street being cleaned it up. I don't think it wasn't 14 inches snow for Providence. It's not the kind of snow that we wouldn't see in the past. In the street, the still dirty, having plowed. I can give you an example. For instance, Ophelia Street, that's off Harper Avenue. This street is very, very dirty and nasty. I haven't seen nobody who go over there to plow the street over there.
Yeah, Ramon, we know we've got plenty of work left to do, and I'm sorry, and it probably seems wild that it takes this long, but you're right. We've seen this much snow in the past, but not regularly. The last time it snowed this much was at least 2022, if not earlier, and so it's going to take a couple days. Our goal was to get the city open for business today so that people could get to work and such, and having just driven over here to the station, I can tell you that people are getting out and going to work today, but that doesn't mean that we're considering our work done. We're going to keep working on it. I'll specifically I got Ophelia Street down and know that Hartford, in general, the side streets over there need some work. For you and for everyone else listening too, and I was talking to some other mayors about this, Rhode Island mayors last night, we're making these streets passable at the beginning. The next step when there's this much snow, because I know homeowners are dealing with the same thing, which is asking themselves this question of where do I put it all? The next move is we'll start widening the streets. There's a lot of streets that are down to one lane that need to be two. There's a lot of places where there should be parking available on the street. Those parking lanes have been totally filled with snow. So we're going to start widening the streets today and really through the rest of the week, and it will keep getting better. But I know people are anxious to get things back to normal, and we're still hard at work. We're not done yet.
But you got to have patience. I mean, I know he's legit.
Yeah.
People, maybe the street wasn't done to his liking or as it should have been done, but in a general sense, you got to have patience this week. Okay. Next caller.
Let's go to James in Providence. Go ahead.
James, go ahead, James.
Hey, guys. Hey, Mayor. Appreciate everything that you're doing. Real quick, live on Rome Lane by Brown University, and there's probably a half a dozen driveways that face that street that have 3 feet of snow. It's untouched. One of the residents is pregnant, so I'm hoping you could do your thing, get the word out, and hopefully deploy a plow to Room Lane, 02906. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Great.
Do you know that street?
I do. And I wasn't sure if it was the driveways that hadn't been plowed or the street that hadn't been plowed.
What do you need on Rome
No,
Lane?
no, the street.
The street. Okay. Got it.
All right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Cianci would say, look out your window. Hey, by the way, buddy, dead 10 years tomorrow.
Is that?
Well, you were here, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. 10 years. Does his legacy loom large
Yes.
over City Hall?
Yeah.
Do people say, hey, buddy would have did this for you? Or what? Well,
When I'm in the mayor's office itself and someone comes in, I'd say 50% of the meetings start with somebody telling me their buddy story.
okay.
The last time I was in this office, I had an interaction with Buddy. It is still deeply ingrained in people's memory, their association with Providence City Government, with City Hall, with that office in particular, and the legacy looms large.
Let me ask you that. I didn't mean to have you step into a controversy, but to my knowledge, now you can correct me if I'm wrong, there's not a park, there's not a street, there's not a statue, there's nothing to Buddy Cianci to officially memorialize him or commemorate him in any way. Now, that's controversial because Buddy was a convicted crook. Let's not sugarcoat this. And he went to prison. But isn't there an old saying that the good a man does is buried, and the bad he does lives long after him? Did you ever think about this? Should there be something to Buddy Cianci in Providence as either a statue or a park? Should there be something at this point?
Yeah. So I'm trying to think to myself.
I don't mean to. It's controversial, but go ahead, answer it.
Sure. It's funny because I go around our rec centers, our schools. His name's on a lot because there's these plaques on all of these buildings when they were built.
Yeah,
and
but
I know that's not what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I say that as just as a positive to his legacy. To the point is, he helped build a lot of this stuff, right? And I see it because I always look at the plaques, and occasionally you get like a Dorley or something older. But his name is on a lot of these brass plaques that go on when we commemorate a new building. I mean, the question of of memorializing and of naming or statues are thorny questions, right?
Yes.
And we actually have a whole committee on this in Providence. This was the committee that dealt with our dearly beloved Christopher Columbus, and so I think it's not a stroke of a pen from a mayor. I think it requires a whole community conversation to sort of wrestle with that question.
Napoleon built Paris, and his record is blemished, by the way, Napoleon. But they're still living off his plan,
Yeah.
and there are still a lot of ends,
Yeah.
as I recall, around Paris. All right, it's 8:23. The mayor's
Yeah.
going to stay with us. More calls.
So let's get back to the calls. 438-9776, 1-800-321-WPRO.
All right, it's 8:26. Let's get calls, and then I've got questions from the mayor talk about ICE and Plant City and everything. Go ahead.
Sarah, go ahead.
Sarah, you're on with the mayor.
Good morning. I'm calling regarding Public Street between Prairie and Hamilton. It is full of sinkholes that have been filled as potholes, but then they come back out. And I wasn't sure if there were plans to redo that stretch of Public Street at some point.
So you know these are actual sinkholes? You're sure of that?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to lose your entire front end. They're as wide as the vehicle.
Okay, Mayor, is this a problem? That it's an actual undermining of the foundation,
Yeah.
not just a pothole.
Well, that's what it sounds like, certainly. So I know that stretch of Public Street to be sure, and there's a lot of road construction teed up for this summer. I'd have to check the list to see when it is scheduled for, but public between Prairie and Hamilton, we'll take a look.
Maybe the engineers can just assess it, whether
Yeah,
it's
right.
an imminent danger. Okay, next caller.
All right, Norma, go ahead.
Norma, go. You're on with the mayor.
I live on Doyle Avenue. I've been here 48 years in May. It's the worst I've ever seen it. The part of the problem is that the apartments on Doyle that go Carver Court goes into off of Doyle Avenue, they have an empty parking lot because people buy parking passes, and this is the problem. Never had this problem in 48 years. The street's terrible. The plow can't get up. I've seen the plows come up. But the thing is that people have to pay more rent if they park in that parking lot. They need to do something like in bad weather to let the people, give them a pass and park in their lot and get off the street because they feel because they're paying for a parking pass, they have these rights. I pay taxes. I have more rights. I pay a lot more than they pay for their pass.
All right, Norma, what?
And I don't think it's fair.
Doyle Avenue. What neighborhood is that?
It's
East
Mount
side,
Hope.
between,
Yeah.
Okay.
it's between North Main and Camp that I live.
So let me ask you this:
That part of Doyle.
Are you mad at the city, or are you mad at the people
Both.
who won't park because they don't want to pay? What is the root of this?
Exactly. It's cheaper to buy a parking pass. Before, when they gave tickets if they parked all night, never had that problem.
Okay.
They removed that. They have a parking pass, and now they feel like they have this right. I feel like I pay taxes a lot more than
All
they
right.
pay for their parking pass.
Mayor, would you
I think
make
you
this
need to look into
understandable
that.
for me? Because it's your area. I'm not getting it. But go ahead.
Yeah. So in Providence, we do allow overnight parking with a permit. To Norma's point, that for many years we didn't, and people would get ticketed if they parked overnight, so they would have to find off-street parking. And there's an apartment building on this block of Doyle that she's referring to, and people apparently have to pay the building, which is their choice, of course, to pay to park in the building.
In the building, that would be an extra fee.
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess that's the decision of the apartment building. That's not our lot. And then, but what Norma's suggesting is that our overnight permit is cheaper, so they're parking on the street instead.
Yep.
And then this is back to this same problem of we got all
Okay.
these cars on the street, and it makes it harder to plow.
Well, if you have somebody who has to be punished, I guess you could punish them with no overnight parking permit for you. That would be, if you're abusing it. The spirit of it is to.
Right. And Norma's point, I think, also is to try to work with these building owners to see if they would open up their lots during a storm.
But then we get into this idea of punishing someone. I don't want to punish anybody, but it's a tough thing to do around a city. It's 8:30. The mayor's going to stay with us. Mayor, in the wake of the second death in Minneapolis, you posted, "I am heartbroken to learn that another person was killed today while exercising their First Amendment rights in Minneapolis. My thoughts are with the family and loved ones
of the victim and this entire city of Minneapolis. I am outraged by the lawlessness we are witnessing by federal agents across the nation. These reckless actions by federal officers are making our communities less safe. Mayor, I don't know the outcome of the investigation, nor do you. Are you drawing to some conclusions over here before realizing whether or not the shooting was justified or not?
I don't think I passed judgment on that question one way or the other.
Well, you said a killed today while exercising their First Amendment rights in Minneapolis. I guess the other side will be he showed up and engaged ICE armed with a gun and 2 magazines. There might be another side to the story here.
There might be, and I hope there is a full investigation.
Okay.
That and the earlier shooting, at least according to public news reports, there have been no commitment from the federal government that there is going to be an investigation, and local investigators have been prevented from accessing evidence. This is like part of the problem, is if you want to build trust with the community, you need to show accountability and transparency. That's what we do here all the time. And so is there any question why people don't trust what's happening? Because not only is there no commitment, there's a rush to judgment, like labeling people domestic terrorists. How many politicians in the world have we heard saying, this has just happened, there'll be a full investigation, we can't comment on an ongoing investigation? I have like memorized that. You hear that all the time, but that's not what happens.
Doesn't that go for your side too, Mayor? I mean, these reckless actions by federal officers are making our communities less safe. It might have been reckless for someone to block their path. That's a crime, to block federal law enforcement from exiting a street. It might have been reckless to go engage ICE while they're in the process of either pepper spraying or taking another person down. That might have been reckless too, May. Would you at least allow for that?
I will allow for it, but listen to yourself. It may have been reckless to engage while they're in the process of pepper spraying an innocent bystander.
Well, it's law enforcement. Your cops do that too, Mayor. Your cops do that.
We all were watching this video. This woman's walking down the sidewalk. They pepper spray her. This guy intervenes, and so to say that that's not reckless is appalling. Of course, it's reckless. You've got all.
Wow, you have this whole thing figured out. You really have made a judgment that he is right and ICE is wrong. I'm just saying. I want to wait. Let me wait for the film, the frame-by-frame Zabruta tape here.
Yeah.
But you're not waiting, and nor are other Democrats, I suspect, because that's political, Mayor.
So here's the judgment that I have made, and it's informed by the time I spend with Providence Police, previously with the state police, is when you have civil unrest, when you have people protesting, when you have a community that's very upset, you can either escalate tensions or you can de-escalate tensions. And what I'm observing, and it's not just me, like millions of Americans have seen these videos. What I'm observing is the escalation of tensions. I don't see anything that's coming from these federal agents that are attempting to de-escalate, that are attempting to turn the volume down, to turn the temperature down. Everything is escalating. So
would you ask the protesters to de-escalate too? The ones who are banging down the glass door of the hotel, the ones who feel the need to go and involve themselves as a third party, the ones who feel the need to block streets, would you at least say, let's be fair here, you need to de-escalate too?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I would do that. And by the way, I know him a little bit. The mayor of Minneapolis has asked them the same. Yeah. He has said to the protesters, this is not helpful. Please, feel free to exercise your First Amendment rights, but do so peacefully.
While the governor has said, go out and film them and take pictures. Look, it's Minneapolis. It's not Providence. Yeah. In Providence, you just said by executive order, ICE is not allowed to assemble on city-owned property. I'm assuming parks, parking lots, things like that, to carry out their business. Your police union chief, Mike Amondi, said, I'm not going to have my men enforce that. The mayor can come out and kick them off the property, but we're not going to enforce that. Why would you want to make their life tougher, Mayor? If they're going after a bad guy on the top of the triple-decker and he's a criminal, why would you want to make their life tougher rather than easier?
So it is in writing, in the executive order, crystal clear, that says that if federal authorities have a judicial warrant, we will honor it. And so that's what they need to do. and they can use our parking lot to go arrest a violent criminal when they have a judicial warrant. That's how this is supposed to work. There's been a lot of talk about deportations under the Obama administration, and there were a lot of deportations under the Obama administration, but they did it the right way.
How do you know ICE is not doing it the right way?
Because we've seen it in Providence. And
do you have any evidence that they came and they took a guy without the warrant? Because as far as I know, it's between them and the guy, not a third party, not someone yelling up, "Where's your warrant? Where's your warrant?" They don't have to answer that question.
Gene,
they answer it to the guy.
Gene, I'm not talking about across the country. I'm talking about here in Rhode Island.
Okay,
in
go ahead.
Yes, they are presenting administrative warrants, which is different and inferior to a judicial warrant, and detaining people. It's happened in Providence. It's happened in the courthouse. They are tackling the wrong people. That happened with that kid who was doing just the right thing, being an intern in the judiciary. This is like a high school student who's like trying to advance his life and do the right thing, get a good internship, go on and be a great lawyer one day or something. So yes, we have ample evidence right here in Rhode Island that they're not getting judicial warrants. They are grabbing the wrong people, and we don't have to be hypothetical about how this is happening or look to Minneapolis for public news reports. It's happening here in Rhode Island.
Mayor, they have to have a judicial warrant to go inside someone's dwelling. Okay, it's my understanding. I had Jeff Pine on, the former Attorney General. He said you could have an administrative warrant, different from a judicial warrant. You can grab the guy on the street, sitting on a park bench, or in front of his house. Do you have any evidence that has not been followed? That they're using one for the other? I'm curious myself. Yeah. Honest broker, do you have evidence of that?
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, you have to have a judicial warrant in order for Providence Police, or in this case now Providence Public Property, to be involved, because the process for getting a judicial warrant is you're going to go to a judge. ICE is going to present their evidence, and then there's some process. There's some due process. The administrative warrant, ICE can just sign on their own. We have no idea if it's valid. We have no idea if this person is actually violent, which I've said on this show many, many times. We don't have any interest in having violent criminals in our community, and that's why a judge would sign off on it.
My understanding, according to Jeff Pine, he was at length. Administrative warrant, the guy's sitting on a park bench, they can grab him. Judicial warrant, he's up in his apartment. You need a judicial warrant to go grab him there. All right, Mayor, this can go on and on. Okay, I got to be somewhere at 6, and you got to be. you want to get back to work. I've pressed you several times.
Yeah.
When ICE is doing their business up in the triple decker.
Yeah.
On whatever street in your city.
Yeah.
Will you at least allow the police to come and separate ICE from the protesters and keep the peace so that we don't have Minneapolis here? I believe you said yes to me last time. Is that still the case?
It is still the case. I mean, the circumstances, it will depend on the circumstances, but we believe that, I don't believe, the Providence Police have a duty to intervene and have an obligation to protect the community. And there are many circumstances where I believe the community will be safer as a result of Providence Police being there to ensure that there is not a conflict between ICE and bystanders or protesters or what have you.
I think that's all a reasonable person can ask for. Your cops are not ICE agents.
Right.
They're not going to, but they could be the line between ICE and the protesters so that we don't have this.
That's right.
We don't have this.
And we might be, it's all going to be circumstantial, but when Providence Police show up, it will not be for immigration enforcement. It will be for the protection and safety of our neighbors.
Okay. Let Tom squeeze more phone calls in, because I know we got to wrap it up here.
Let's go to Frank in Providence. Go ahead.
Frank, go ahead. You're on the radio.
Hello. How you doing?
Go ahead, Frank.
I'm curious because we still have not seen a plow over here on Handy Street since the start of the storm.
Nothing's passed your way? What is the street?
Handy Street, Handy. It's off of Amherst. The part that confuses me is they actually did the street over up to Atwells and Mount Pleasant, but this street completely got ignored.
Okay.
All right. Handy. Yeah, it's a little.
You know the street?
1 block long street. No, I had to look it up, but it's off of Amherst. I know exactly where it is. It's only just up from Jocelyn. So we will we'll get someone over there as soon as possible, Frank.
By the way, isn't this illustrative? We're talking ice and issues and Andy, whatever's next. When is Handy Street going to get plowed? Okay, let's bring it back.
Yeah.
Constituent service. Next call.
Karen.
Karen, go.
The trash was supposed to be picked up today, and I don't hear any of the trucks or anything bowling around. So
What street?
up on College, Bowen Street.
Oh, Bowen, I know that's a nice street.
Yeah, so Karen, the trash is being picked up. I was up and out early this morning. My trash day is also generally Monday, which means today, Tuesday, and I've seen the trucks. As with everything else, because of the storm, because we've still got a lot of work to do, the waste management's going to do their best. It's going to take them longer, and if they skip your barrel today, we'll put in an order for them to come back down Bowen Street again tomorrow. And everything, it's going to get tiresome for people to hear it, I know, and I apologize, but everyone's just going to have to be a little patient. Everything's taking longer than it should. Everything is a little bit harder than it was. There's a lot of snow on the streets, and the waste management trucks also are having to navigate some narrow streets as well.
But you wanted to put her barrel out today.
Yeah. Leave your barrel out through tomorrow, Karen.
I had another question. I had a special ordered bulk pickup. Are they going to pick that stuff up today? Because they were supposed to pick it up last week, and I had to reschedule again this week. Is that going to happen today, or?
It should, and that's a different truck, and so we'll make sure that truck is coming out, and we've got a direct contact with Waste Management, so we sort of have a one-to-one customer service person that talks with our 311 office.
I think Bowen Street is the south end of the Brown campus, if I'm not mistaken, right? Runs a hill up.
Yeah, it goes all the way from
Okay.
Prospect down to Thayer.
Speaking of Brown, I was expecting news from you on Brown and police body cams. What can you tell us? Not much, because things have sort of changed, but go ahead.
Yeah, so there's been requests from many news organizations for body cam footage, and we are working our way through those requests, trying to balance transparency and the requirements of the state's Access to Public Records Act, also referred to as APRA, with the effects of this video. Whatever gets released, no matter how heavily redacted, will be traumatizing to students, some members of the community, and so we're working through those videos to see what can be released in a way that satisfies our commitment to and obligation to transparency, but does not needlessly re-traumatize people, particularly kids. I'm in my fourth year as mayor. Unfortunately, over the last 4 years, I've watched a lot of body cam. It's part of the job, and so I'm a little bit more used to it. But if you've never seen body cam footage before, it can be very stressful.
Well, we put
on any day, and so in the context of a presumption that young people are going to be watching this, and young people who just lived through a shooting, we need to take that into effect and take that into account.
Okay.
And so that's what we're working through right now.
We thought we were going to get it past hour. The police body cam. This would be cops running around in the aftermath looking for something, the commotion. Okay, we're not going to get that maybe later today, but you have to get some things ironed out.
That's right.
With family members and also the authorities.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much other than we understand that we have an obligation to comply with APRA. We have a desire to be transparent, and we are trying to do it the right way to be sensitive to the fact that this was really impactful, not just on Brown, but specifically on several people.
But just one, I got to run to a break.
Yep.
What you're going to release, if you release it, Mayor, it's going to be police just running around street to street saying things. There's nothing violent on it. There's nothing with the shooter on it. So let's not oversell it.
Yeah, we should not oversell it. There is a very clear provision in the APRA law that involves both a presumption of privacy, and so there's no world in which we would disclose violent images of injured individuals or anything like that.
Okay, good. I mean, I understand as a reporter. Let's see everything that you can show us, and it adds to the history of the day. Okay,
Yep.
got it.
Yep.
8:51. Right back. Quickly, do you have the votes to sustain your veto of rent control? Just one word answer if you do.
Not yet.
Okay.
That's a two-word answer.
Are you for a millionaire's tax?
Would want to hear the hearing to see. I'm sensitive to the question about small business owners, so I want to actually hear from small business owners.
Are you going to miss Plant City?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, they were a good addition.
And they're blaming the bridge. Do you buy this as an explanation?
I mean, it's a tough business, and margins in restaurants are low, so any little thing that changes can really set you off. But that owner there, Kim, is a lovely person who made big investments in that corner of the city, and it was a nice addition, particularly for all of our vegetarian and vegan friends.
Got to find something new to go in there.
Yeah,
maybe
hopefully.
Newport Creamery.
Hopefully something great.
Mayor, thanks for coming in. A good spirited conversation as always. 8:56.
Thanks.